Tonight on the Broalition, we talk about protests, bad cops, and should we turn the other cheek?
We only got 2 cheeks.
We got butt cheeks. Cue the music. Oh, another beautiful sunny day here in Indiana.
Southern Indiana.
In an undisclosed location.
Apparently, it's a cigar shop.
Well, it's a cigar shop. Sweet, man.
Nice.
Nice.
I like it.
Got some cohibas behind us.
Is
that how you say it?
Cohiba? I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I've
Is that
always
like,
said it.
you got to roll it like Barnabas.
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 Barnabas. It's not.
Whatever.
Hey, welcome to the Gospel Broalition. Pastor Lee here, joined on my right by Mike Paul, the Hoosier Hillbilly. To my left, on this game is J.R. Robinson. And as always, joined in the studio by our producer, Shutup Cameron, our total liberal.
I just realized that this shirt has green on it, so I failed.
What? Oh, look at that.
Oh, he's got a big hole in
Should
it.
have kept my sweatshirt on.
Me representing the big T.
Yeah, me representing America.
That's right. So we're so glad that you're here with us. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like it. And you want to subscribe, then do that.
Please, we're backing you.
Yeah. You know, we're up to, we have a lot of subscribers and nobody's actually watching.
That happens with watching.
We're going to fix that. We're going to cheat.
20% of you are, 20% of our subscribers are watching the show.
That's probably a pretty good.
That's not bad.
Good amount, yeah.
It's not bad. But we're so glad you're here, like I said. And we're going to kind of keep the Red Pill series going on, where we're talking about things that take place within the church. We're going to get to that shortly. Kind of all ties in together. Hey, anybody's have you seen The King's Man?
No, Cameron was saying that I need to watch it.
The King's Man.
Did you see it?
I was going to watch it with Jay.
What is it about?
Well, have you heard? You've heard of the movies The Kingsman?
Yes.
Okay, this is the origin story. And we watched it the other night. Thought it was pretty good. You know, I'm not a big fan of the other two. I don't think I've even seen the second one. But we watched that, and it's kind of neat because it got me thinking about all this stuff. Like the guy, I'm gonna ruin the whole story because nobody's ever going to see it. Well, you guys are going to see it, but
Go ahead.
But it's you guys, so I'm going to ruin it anyway. But he gets in there, and the guy who's the Ralph Fiennes, whatever how you pronounce his name, Fiennes.
Ralph Fiennes.
He is great. He's a great actor. That's one of the reasons why I actually watched it. And he is the founder of this group, and on the surface he's a pacifist, because you hear at the in the whole movie basically he hates war, doesn't want to have anything to do with it. But then you understand later on in the movie that he works for this organization. Well, he starts the organization, but he's already doing it. But he stops evil before it could actually get going. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like Minority Report.
Well, like World War I, you know, the assassination of the Archduke Ferdinand was kind of like the start of the war. His job was to protect him, and he didn't do that. So the war happens because of that. And so they make this kind of plan to go out. We're gonna stop evil before it even gets going. So if you have to kill one person,
that's a dangerous territory to go to.
Well, it's like
the Illuminati does, isn't
it? They don't exist.
They don't exist. That's our official story. But if you go like if you have to kill one person to save 1 million, I mean, if you could go back in time, knowing what you know, would you kill Hitler?
I've watched a lot of episodes of The Flash here lately, and the whole Flashpoint thing, absolutely not, because it would screw with the timeline so bad you wouldn't know what was going on.
Man, but what movie was that came out that said it really doesn't mess with the timeline like you think it does?
Marvel tried to do
that. That was Avengers. That movie failed miserably.
They say that when you go back and change something, it creates another timeline. It doesn't affect the one you're on. But then they broke their own rule when they brought Thanos back over.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that whole movie.
I just watched
so you can't take time travel seriously from them.
I just listened to a book called Recursion. And it was about this idea that they could,
Soon to be a Christopher Nolan movie. Go ahead.
maybe, I'd watch it.
Oh no.
No.
This idea that you can download a memory and reload yourself back into it, but when you do that, you break the idea, the physics of time, and you actually go back to that memory and relive it. And they were saying that if this chair that gives them this capability, why don't we go back and do something like get rid of Hitler? And you don't understand the ramifications of that many decades passing, where if things he didn't do didn't happen, this wouldn't have happened, and this wouldn't have happened.
Just
It would
like in the
Oh,
show,
you can't even imagine.
just like in the show The Flash, when he goes back to save his mom. It screws the timeline up bad. It screws up so bad he takes Ebar and Thawne back with him to kill his mom, knowing that he's going to do it to try to reset the timeline. But man, it's even more screwed up than it was before. So it's it could be dangerous.
Yeah, I mean that stuff could actually happen. I mean,
I don't know. I mean,
it makes sense if you go back in time and you
so-
do that. Then that's going to be the consequences of it. But
If there was no other consequence besides all the Jews get to live, absolutely, let's go get him.
Yeah, but Bill and Ted went back in time and had interaction with Abraham Lincoln, and that didn't change anything.
That's true.
Bill and Ted can do it.
Yeah, that's true. Bill and Ted. That probably a more accurate version of
And
time travel
Socrates.
than some
They
of the
didn't
others.
call him Socrates. They called him Socrates.
So great.
Tell me you guys have seen that movie.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first, I did not watch the remake, the sequel.
I did. It was terrible.
No,
Terrible.
I could tell it was terrible.
And I'm a Keanu fanboy, and that
That's
was
two
terrible.
Keanu movies have been terrible.
Yeah.
There's more than two.
No, recently.
Yeah. You haven't seen it.
Matrix.
Any movie that he does that's a romance is terrible.
The Lake House.
The Lake House. Oh my gosh.
I watched it. You can't get it back.
Don't know if
Wow.
I saw that one or not.
I'd rather that movie and The Notebook.
Everybody loves the Notebook.
Never
I
seen
could
The
take it or leave
Notebook.
it.
I'd rather have my nose hairs pulled out with a chainsaw than
That's pretty
that's
aggressive.
pretty bad.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. But it's I don't know. There's this question about evil and Christians. Should we do something about that? Do we turn the other cheek? Do we? And I think a lot of times when people talk about turning the other cheek, they're just like, that means everything. But you look at what is taking place in Canada. And by the way, we support the truckers here. We support what they're
Disclaimer:
doing.
we are not medical professionals.
Yeah.
Follow your doctor's guidance and advice on what you should do for your own medical benefit.
With that being said,
With that being said,
but it wasn't necessarily about the vaccines. I think nobody even talked about that.
there were a lot of truckers there that were vaccinated that were just against the idea of the government telling
Of these
them what to do.
mandates
Yeah.
and things like that. And I'm going to share something controversial, you know me, but
Surprise.
I've kind of rethought my position because I have always believed in Back the Blue, and I have a Back the Blue decal on my Hummer. But when they're acting like Nazi brown shirts, I don't back that at all, and I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I cannot comprehend being in a position, and most cops, they don't vote Democrat. They vote Republican. At least that's what Jack Reacher said. They never vote Democrat. And so they're sitting there, and you're thinking, they're like, I don't want to. I agree with what these people are doing, and then because I'm told to, I'm going to, and that may be a whole issue about integrity and doing what your superiors want you to do. But when it violates what you believe, how can that be right? And I just don't understand how you're just like, I'm just going to go over here and club this person because they're protesting, or run over them with a horse.
I think the ones that do that believe in the other side of that cause.
I agree.
You know what I mean? I don't
agree.
think they're your typical.
And they'll pull you out and just beat the crap out of you. I mean, I think I actually saw a video last night, though, of where they were having, I don't know, day 35 of protest in France, and actually some of the cops were marching with the protesters.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I said. There's good and bad and everything.
But I think what happens, and you got to be careful, if you go to these protests, just like with January the 6th and things like that, you have to understand they are begging for you to do something. When they throw the tear gas, when they smack somebody with a baton, they are wanting you to retaliate.
And they have plants in there too that are
Absolutely.
trying to aggravate
right.
the whole crowd.
Everybody
trying to
knows
get 'em
that.
to
I
do
think even
stuff.
liberals
Yeah,
know.
there's video. There's video proof of people doing it.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
yeah, when you're over here and you have pallets of bricks just delivered under bridges.
Yeah. I
just
mean,
randomly.
There's proof. You can't deny that it happens. Now you can you can say, well, such and such did it, or that's to be determined. But there's undeniable evidence that there are plants in these crowds, that there are pallets full of bricks and stuff that were delivered at certain places. It's there.
If you don't think January the 6th is being blown out of proportion, look at pictures online, and they will show pictures from inside the Capitol where all the insurgents were, of them actually walking between the velvet ropes.
So
there's both. Now that stops tyranny. Velvet ropes. We didn't know
it's
that.
like sitting down at the restaurant stops COVID.
I know. So it's like these guys are storming the Capitol. They're storming the Capitol by going along with the velvet ropes.
Yeah. But
You know,
they're doing it.
they're not very good at it.
They're storming it orderly.
They're not barbarians at the gate.
Yeah.
I mean, and so it's just that whole narrative is blown.
So
out.
here's my thing. On that date that they had heightened security.
Right.
Let's try that. Just any other day of the year. Try going into the Capitol and see what happens to you.
No, you don't get
You're
in
going
those
to get
doors.
shot before you get in the door.
What's funny is they had the pipe bombs that were at the DNC and the RNC, which we have equal opportunity oppressor apparently.
He's taking everybody out.
And the one at the DNC was founded by a woman on her way to the laundromat who works for a company that got a $92 million grant from the FBI.
What?
Interesting. But Kamala Harris, our beloved vice president, was over there, and apparently the entire Secret Service missed a pipe bomb that a woman going to the laundromat found. It's a bunch of crap, folks.
I think I'm firing my Secret Service at that point.
I'm serious,
Like,
man.
I'm gonna hire her.
Wake up and smell the conspiracy, because it's out there.
But they don't even have to hide it anymore. They didn't
No.
even have to try to hide that
No, they can just
transaction
put it
because
right
nobody
out
cares.
there and nobody
No.
cares.
Yeah.
Because people are stupid,
Yes,
except for us,
and our viewers.
and our wives,
People on Uranus aren't stupid.
and our people in our church, and some of the friends that we have out there.
Some.
So there's
Some.
12.
Yeah. That's a group of about 100 people right now. But we gotta show restraint. We do, because just one punch and it's going to be news. Because you think about it, if there was a cop who raised a baton to one of the liberal Black Lives Matters protesters,
It would have been plastered
national news, man.
everywhere.
They'd have lynched him. They'd have taken him out in the streets. And
Oh, yeah,
shot.
absolutely.
Yep.
You can't say lynch. Don't say that.
We do not condone.
Depends on what color you are.
Yeah, it's true. You
Yeah.
can lynch white people. It's okay.
Yeah, that's true. Especially as a white cop.
But if a black person got hit by a baton, they'd be elevated to the status of George Floyd and Jesus Christ. I mean, it just would.
Well, it's just like with the
pick
protests.
girls to
Yeah,
and-
they got pictures of Mary holding George Floyd.
What?
Yeah, it's a mural. Was that the one that got hit by lightning?
I can't
Did
remember.
they not realize he's a convicted felon who was doing drugs?
They don't
Okay,
care.
I mean,
It's the
it
narrative,
doesn't
man.
matter,
It's the
yeah.
narrative. They don't
Doesn't
care.
matter.
They don't care.
It's
And
fantastic.
I was talking to some older black people about this. I hate to say the word black, but you have to. I have black friends.
They
Just
don't
want
like
you to
being
know.
called colored.
He's
so-
not racist. He has black.
They don't
friends.
like being called an African American either.
No,
No.
because they're never there.
Yeah.
And all they do, and they're patriotic. They talk about, they're conservative. They talk about how great this country is. And the only people who are protesting are the people who didn't experience any of this crap.
Yeah. And they're mostly white.
These people who marked in the civil rights in the 60s and the 50s, they get it. They understand. They've got cred. You guys, nothing.
So how long have these people in Canada, how long have they been protesting for now?
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
So
Yeah,
you're
it's a
talking
number of
3
weeks
weeks, a large number of people out in these streets,
Yeah.
and not a single thing on the news about an attack or anything on their end.
Yeah.
Has there been?
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the other shows have talked about this. It's like they're not doing anything violent.
They're just
So they
protesting.
keep trying to agitate them,
Yes.
right? If you saw Trudeau's
Honking is violent.
No, if you
hear
saw
that?
if you saw
Oh yeah, they're trying to make
can't
it
honk
illegal.
anymore 'cause that's violent.
Yeah, it's violent.
you saw Trudeau's announcement this week that, or it wasn't Trudeau, it was the police chief over there was saying that these people will be basically hunted down and dealt with.
Yeah.
Not given like trial
Yeah.
and a chance to be
Hunted
proven innocent.
down.
And it's like you're losing your job, you're having your bank accounts frozen. Anybody that was involved with these protests, that's what's happening.
That Emergency Powers Act was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That was
absolutely nuts.
Well, what's funny is Ottawa had a captain who resigned, and then they put this psycho in there.
Yeah.
And now you know why the other guy resigned, because they were like, you got to get, because he's like, I'm not going to do this crap.
They're like, all right, see ya.
And now we're going to hunt you down. And it's like, these people are crazy, folks. Crazy.
So you've got all these people protesting for this amount of time, and no buildings are being burned, no cars been flipped over. The Super Bowl, the winning team of the Super Bowl rioted and turned vehicles over and set stuff on fire.
Well, that's Los Angeles, though. That's
10 minutes after the Super Bowl.
That's a third world country.
That place, yeah, and they were. I can't remember how the news stated it. They were like overly excited celebration, I think is how they stated it.
Mostly
as
peaceful.
They're rioting, yeah, mostly peaceful.
Oh, it's just crazy. You just got to laugh about it. I mean, but 61% in a recent poll. 61% of Democrats support what's going on in Canada.
That high?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you did see where CNN came out and basically said that Rogan is a greater threat than January 6th.
Yeah.
Which means nothing, because January 6th wasn't as big of a threat.
I know. Apparently Joe Rogan is topping their list, though. How dare he speak of freedom and, the right to choose and all that. But isn't that what they wanted, though? Isn't that what they wanted? The right to choose my body, my rights, my choice.
Yeah. We have to understand, we have to be consistent, because if we get mad at a bunch of BLM protesters blocking roads, we really can't say anything, because that's what the truckers did.
Yeah, they're blocking roads.
Right. So, you got to accept it. You just accept it or you don't accept it. We can't be hypocritical like they are. And that's what happened. But speaking of hypocrisy, so they had something happen in Canada where somebody built a building, a religious center or church, something like that, on unmarked graves. Do you recall that? That was less than a year, back in July of last year.
Okay.
In response to that, 50 churches were set on fire, vandalized or set on fire. And Trudeau comes out and says, I understand their anger.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. But they've got to a point where nobody's doing anything in Canada. None of these people who are protesting are doing anything violent. So now it's like what you're thinking is violent.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, good.
Just protesting is violent. You don't have to actually, but then they don't do anything when they're actually
rioting,
killing people and destroying stuff.
We'll stand around and watch them.
You see those cops? Those cops, they just have.
And they can't do anything. They've been told not to do anything.
Right, and the cops will sit there and they'll have all these just slurs thrown at them and physical objects thrown at them, and they'll just stand there, and then it's all like, "Hey, there's two white guys down there protesting. Let's go kick their butts," and that's what they do.
Yeah, funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, there's good cops, there's bad cops. There is, but I'm not doing this back to blue. I'm going to back good cops. That's who I back. Just like with the military, I back good people who are in the military. Not every person in the military is a good person.
No.
Just not. And I know that's bad. Boo, boo, boo. I don't care. It's just, well, you. But we have to understand, and we've talked about this before, that there is a difference between people who are just stupid and ignorant and then evil people.
Yes.
There's
a tension with evil.
There is evil in the world, and evil is manifested through people. So there's evil people within the world. And I think one of the things that has allowed all this evil to go unchecked is Christians. Because, bear with me on this kind of mindset of, I can win them to Jesus if I'm nice to them. And so if they come in, so you open first thing you do is you open the door to a lost person, which we talked about last week. You're not supposed to. Church is for the church. And then a lost person comes in and goes, I don't like it you guys don't have a lesbian pastor. And so you guys are like, oh, well, we don't want to say anything controversial to run this person off because that means our numbers go down. And we want to be nice to this person so they'll accept Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior because you believe you can still win people to Jesus. And so what happens is that person doesn't change they change the church. All because you're trying to be nice to those people instead of telling them the truth, which I think is what the Bible was talking about when it said overcome evil with good. And we have this we have this kind of mindset that that good equates to nice. But good is righteousness and holiness and truth and discipline. That's good too. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we just don't do that. Next week we're going to do something. I don't know. Well, I changed my mind. They'll tell you I changed my mind.
Yeah, it
changed
twice.
Twice today.
I get started on something and then I kind of get distracted on that. There's a bunch of lists out there. 10 things I wish Jesus never said.
Ooh.
We need to do our own list. But
Ooh.
10 things I wish Jesus never said, and it wasn't. It was. They were respectful. They weren't like mean or anything like that.
Kind of like I don't like it.
I don't like it, but because Jesus said right. You know,
I can understand that.
We've talked about that before, and one of the things was about turning the other cheek. One of the things that somebody had on the list, and I'd have to agree. I don't like it.
What's the meaning behind it, though? Let's go into the true meaning.
Mike's trying to do a nice segue there. See that?
Let's go into the true meaning instead of just me getting the crap kicked out of me. I want to know what he really meant by it.
I would like to point out that we only have 2 cheeks to turn.
We have butt cheeks too. That's 4.
We're still only at 4 though.
They start slapping your butt cheeks. We're going on to something completely different.
Yeah, we've moved in a whole new territory.
We're going to have to edit this one.
That stuff don't happen on Uranus.
This is true. There is no cheek slapping.
There's only 2 cheeks on Uranus. so that's true.
Queued it up.
What kills me about Christians is that we take a pacifist role with the world.
Yeah.
And then a warmonger, scorched earth policy with the church. Christians. Yeah. We're going to let the world do everything, but the Christian wants to change, the lights or the carpet in the church. That person's going to hell, and we need to destroy them and everything that they have. And I don't get that. But if we're supposed to turn the other cheek as Christians, did everybody who fought in World War II were they wrong?
Well, they're going to say they did it out of obligation.
I don't think they were wrong.
No, I don't think they're wrong, but they're going to. The excuse is, well, they did it out of obligation. Because they signed up and now they're obligated to go. That's what the excuse.
But you can't take it part of Scripture at one time and then not take it another time.
I
so
agree.
if Jesus says turn the other cheek, then when there's a war, you can't kill somebody. You have to say, well, no, I'm not going to do that, unless you understand exactly what he was talking about there. But I don't know. Somebody breaking into your house.
Sorry.
Some guy tries to carjack your wife's car and tries to rape her. I'm kicking his ass. That's what I'm doing.
I can't even describe to you what would happen.
He would be unrecognizable.
Yeah,
by the time I got
there's
done
not
with
just.
I wouldn't kill him because thou shalt not murder. But I don't know if that's murder because he's not innocent. By the way, which that also means.
Yeah. He won't be recognizable to anybody anymore.
Yeah. Gosh.
That's no doubt.
And by the way,
although your wife would take care of that for you.
Yeah, she would. Yeah,
she'd kick your butt. So I mean.
But if like my daughter, she's older now, but when she was younger, if you wanted to walk into a bathroom with her and pull your pecker out, then that'd be the last time you pull it out.
You wouldn't have one anymore to pull out
because it'd be over after that. I'm serious. Lee, that's not very Christian. I don't think that's what Jesus was talking about when he's talking about turning the other cheek. Defending my household, defending my family, defending my country, except when it comes to Ukraine, because I could care less about Ukraine, especially when we're so concerned about their border and not our own.
Yeah, we'll probably take care of ourselves first, but that's a whole other topic.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let's start a war with Mexico. Then we'll be concerned about our borders.
That's a good idea. That'd be an easily won war too.
Yeah, it would be. But
except they make everything we have them in Taiwan, and we'd be in a lot of trouble.
So
everybody needs everybody.
Yeah. Well, Jesus in the temple, not once, but twice.
You mean he didn't turn the other cheek to the money changer?
No, he did not. He did not.
Oh, I wonder why.
He actually overturned tables and grabbed a whip and.
He made a whip.
He made a whip. Took his time spinning that sucker tight.
I'm gonna enjoy this.
Yeah.
Could it be because of?
I'm here to worship God and to chew gum. I'm all out of gum, so I'm gonna kill you. So, no.
Could it be because of a righteous anger?
Well, yeah. Well, but then again, you got to just overcome evil with good, and people will be like, "Well, that wasn't really nice of Jesus to do that." But there's a point. I think what it was talking about, the whole conversation. Even when Paul says don't resist an evil person, I think the whole conversation is you have to be very careful about when opposing evil, because you can become what you oppose. And we can, I think the protests were a perfect example, because you saw people who protesting on both sides, but one side is nothing but anger and hate and vitriol for everybody else out there. And then the other side was they're having parties and playing music and stuff. And they were just protesting. They were just doing what they felt like they could do within the limits of the law. And you got one group, and we have to be very careful, like when confronting evil, that we don't become evil in the process. And I think that's the kind of a point. There's always this kind of, hey, I'm going to push you back. Don't commit adultery. Don't even look at a woman. You've heard this, but I say this. And it's kind of, I think, along those lines of, I'm just going to tell you, don't resist an evil person. Turn the other cheek, so you don't even get into that territory. But I don't think it's him saying, hey, you know what, just allow evil just to run rampant.
Yeah, just get beaten by everybody that comes along.
Right, and just sit there and take it. I don't think that at all.
No, we looked at this when we did a spiritual warfare sermon series this year, and it was when we were talking about all the spiritual armor that we've been given, right? Mm-hmm. And it's all in response to a passage that says that we are given these things to stand firm against what? The schemes of the devil.
Right.
That's evil, in my opinion.
Absolutely, yes.
But we were not given that armor to sit back and take what the devil gave us. We were there to stand firm, to oppose, to be against it.
Right.
Not to sit back and let it come in. You know what I mean? So.
And he talked about the church and storming the gates of hell. The gates of hell will not be able to prevail against that church. Mm-hmm. That doesn't sound like a passive. It sounds like a church that's aggressive, tearing down the strongholds through the power of God. We get that. We understand that. But we have to. I know God doesn't need us, but there's a point where we have to act, and we have to do it when there's an evil that's taking place. And because we don't do anything, and I think our passivity concerning all these subjects has made it in some way where God does not work, because we're not doing it. We have no passion for it.
His hands and feet aren't being hands and feet.
No.
They're not doing anything.
And that's what everybody says. You need to be the hands and feet of Jesus Christ until it comes to opposing evil.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, no.
Let's step back and let God take care of it.
God will take care of it, right? Well, maybe he will through us.
That's what we think about poor people. We're just going to let God take care of it.
Yeah.
We're not going to be hands and feet. So, I mean, we talked about those situations. So sometimes it's okay to get angry. Sometimes it's okay to fight. Sometimes it's okay to stand for something.
Once again, I think it has to do with righteous anger. If you're just angry to be angry,
right?
You know, if there's a just reason, a just cause to be angry, like, once again, Jesus was justifiably angry,
right,
when he did what he did, when he flipped the tables,
right,
whipped people. I mean,
he got angry at a fig tree.
That's true. Cursed fig tree.
You killed it.
Yeah. Called the Pharisees a brood of vipers.
Mm-hmm. And that wasn't very nice language back then.
No, absolutely not.
That was a little mean.
Yeah. Called people a perverse and wicked generation. Mm-hmm. So we could go example. We're not trying to prove that Jesus was tough with people, and I don't think that he did not tolerate evil.
No.
It's impossible for him to do that. He cannot tolerate evil. Mm-hmm. And we have a tendency to do that. We tolerate evil under the false assumption that we win people to Jesus. I got to keep doing it every time we do that. We win people to Jesus. We just don't. Man, we're going to do election one day. You guys are just going to be liberated. You're going to really enjoy it.
It's going to be a 4-hour show.
But we have this kind of mindset of, as long as they're not putting people in concentration camps, we as Christians, we're not going to say anything.
But the problem is that it'll get to that point and it's too late.
Right there.
Once that starts happening, it's too late.
By the time
already let go of everything.
Right. By the time they get to the point where they're actually coming to your door and dragging you off, it's too late.
I mean, we've talked about it before, where we're like, okay, our founding fathers, how much would they have took of what's going on today? I think they would have lost it. They would have already stomped a mud hole in somebody.
Yeah, I'm not into too much in hyperbole, but I really do think that they would be.
I mean, they raised the tax on tea, and they're like, oh, no, ha.
They raised it by 5%.
Yeah, they're like, nope, we're done.
And those guys lost their minds.
Yeah.
And
our gas prices have over doubled in the last year and a half.
Yeah, folks, this thing with Ukraine and Russia, it's a
farce.
It's a wag the dog kind of thing. It's just basically to take your mind off of everything else that's taking place and to blame everything that's happening in America on that war. That's exactly what it is.
Oh, look at that, gas! Everything has went up. Your groceries.
Oh, that's
and
because of the
everything.
war.
It's because of the war. Even
Yeah.
though people will forget that it's already happened.
They'll blame that on the truckers. That everything's going
Oh,
up in
yeah,
price.
that's true too. Yeah.
I tell you what, I one thing I need to repent of is like when I was younger, I was a hawk, man, and I wanted to go to war with a lot of people. And Trump, I don't agree with everything Trump does, and I'm not a Trump fanboy. I think he was a good president. I think he did some good things. I think he's a good guy. But one of the things that he really helped me with was he stayed out of these conflicts that take place other places.
Wasn't it liberating?
Yeah, it was just
Wasn't
like,
it
do we
so
really need to be
liberating?
concerned with what's happening
It
over
was
there?
so
Do we-
liberating to
do
have
we
a
need to
president that
step
did
in?
that.
But then we started doing that. Then I started seeing the other side, like the Romneys and the McCains and the Cheneys and all those people who were they just bloodthirsty,
The
man.
Bushes and-
The rhinos, the anti-Trump people are just blood. They want a war everywhere, and they want to send people. John Bolton, who turned on Trump, wants a war everywhere. These neocons, and I supported those guys. Bush and Cheney were neocons. 9/11, we'll talk about that some other time. But these things have to happen so that people now we're bloodthirsty.
4 hours,
We want war, and all of a sudden Halliburton's making billions of dollars.
Yeah.
It's all about money.
Yep. Follow the money.
And now when my son is at the age of being drafted, I'm like, I don't want any part of these conflicts.
Yeah.
Unless it directly affects us.
Yes. If it somehow directly affects us and our security, 100%. Let's
Right.
go whip their butt. And be
If
done
they
with it.
if they attack the United States, I'm there with my son.
At some point, the United States has to take care of themselves before being the world protector.
No, we don't take care of ourselves anymore.
That's the thing. We need to take care of ourselves before we are the big brother to the world.
But everybody had this view before World War II. After World War I, nobody wanted a part of a world war again.
If it wasn't for Japan, we would have stayed out of it more than likely.
Yeah.
And whoops, they screwed
Yeah,
up.
the bombing of Pearl Harbor was horrible, but boy, it was fantastic for some people who wanted war.
Because guess what happened?
Yeah.
That put we're like, okay,
Yeah,
you screwed with us, now it's over.
They met. Well, the Japanese knew they couldn't win, so they were just kind of like, we'll drag it out for a little while, and then we'll sue for peace. And the Americans were like, we're gonna stomp you.
It's like we're you'll get your piece
That's
all
back-
right.
That's back days when America had cojones, and we didn't care. It's like, if you're going to go to war with us, we're going to turn your country into a parking lot.
Now, the president at that time, who was that?
I get those. No, Eisenhower was after the war. It was Truman. Roosevelt. It was Roosevelt.
Okay.
Then
so
Truman.
Roosevelt had. So he had.
Did you say FDR?
I did.
Oh, I thought you said Eisenhower.
No.
I'm sorry, man. He was right.
Shut up, Cameron. Even though you were right.
Cameron's over at Butthurt. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's
he's
all-
right.
oh,
It
we
is.
didn't listen to
You're
it.
right.
Also a Democrat.
It's over.
Yeah, he was.
But when they had to make the choice,
They were all Democrats back then.
when they had to make the choice to nuke them. Could you imagine making that choice? But once again, that choice, yes, it hurt however millions of whatever innocent civilians. How many did it save in the long run?
Yes.
So there you go again with your whole question you had from earlier. Well,
Sometimes you got to do
sometimes
stuff.
you have to.
Right.
That's a dangerous road to be on once again.
Absolutely.
Because you can go on this whole technology binge of what Captain America movie had and all that stuff. They had
the war to get
all
us
of
out
that.
Depression.
Yeah, if you want to get out of a recession or a depression, the economics always teach to have a war. That's how
we
you
were
do
going to
it.
stay out of it, but
We were actually,
Thanks, Japan.
if you look back at the World Trade Center, we were actually in the midst of a pretty big recession that was taking place.
Yep.
And that's how you get out of it. You have a war.
and something about oil there too. I
And
don't
we
know
had
how
just
that
come out of the
works.
Great Depression, and America was really struggling. And then once we came out of the war, man, prosperity everywhere.
Security agency funding was about to be cut.
Back then?
Yep.
And then they needed to prove their need for that funding. They needed a.
I'm so
Opposition.
ashamed. I do.
We're not going to talk about that conspiracy though, because we'll be here for hours.
Because I just supported those people.
yeah, I did too.
I voted for Bush, Cheney,
Bush was the
and
first president. I
Bush,
got to
McCain,
vote
and
for.
Romney. Gosh, I'm so embarrassed.
Yeah,
That's who we were trotting out. I mean, here you
Yeah.
go. Yeah,
to Mr. Turncoat himself.
yeah. Here's a bunch of rhinos we're going to trot out there.
Yep.
That's when I quit voting. Right
With
after I was
Romney?
first old enough to vote, I voted once and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I didn't vote again.
You got to vote.
Well, does it do any good?
No.
Not now, it doesn't.
I don't think it did back then. I think they've had power who they've wanted in power the entire time until Trump got there, because all of a sudden now both parties hate the guy's guts.
This is an entirely different show, but the way our electoral system works and the way until you can prove to me that somebody lost by a singular vote, my vote doesn't matter. Because I didn't discourage anybody else from voting, because I didn't. My one vote doesn't matter.
Yeah, but if you're in your state and 15, 20,000 people have the same ideal that you have.
But I didn't cause that, though.
No, but you didn't. But it's just...
I just caused mine.
I vote. It's my patriotic duty, and I love my country. So, suck it.
You don't. He loves his country more.
And people lost their minds when the Trump election was going on. And I just posted on social media. I was not voting. I said, but if you're one of those people that vote, make your vote count. And I got roasted over that. Like, I don't need mine to vote. I'm going to vote for my integrity and whoever I want. And I was like, well, your vote didn't matter then. Yeah, go ahead and vote for the Libertarian. It didn't matter. He didn't win.
Yeah,
that's true.
I was sucked.
That's what I'm saying.
I was sucked into that.
Not only that
side at one time.
And when you vote that way, you make the two that are potentially more offset, because you wasted your vote on somebody that can't win.
Because more than likely, if you were going for the Libertarian, you were going to vote red.
That's what I said. I said vote for somebody that can win, and that's they true. Lost their mind.
And that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate and it sucks, but.
Well, it's about the greater evil. I mean, you might have to hold your nose.
But once again, look back at the Bushes. Look back at all the Republicans. Who was the greater evil at that point in time?
I think they got so mad at Trump because the apparatus that they used in order to swing elections, they had it available, but they didn't think they'd need it.
And they got stomped.
And then Trump won. They wake up the next day like, holy cow, what happened? and they're like, they hate this guy now because he kind of came in and said, I'm going to screw your system. I'm going to
do what
I'm going to win.
Yeah.
And he did. I do think, since we're on politics now, might as well keep going.
It's been political the whole time.
I did put it up on my Facebook page. I think DeSantis and Gabbard is an unbeatable ticket.
Oh, that would be unreal.
I don't think
Gabbard could bring in your more conservative Democrat side.
Absolutely,
and she would get a lot of them.
I think DeSantis and Gabbard is stronger than Trump and DeSantis.
Oh, absolutely, because you need part of that blue to do anything anymore.
I like Gabbard, and Gabbard, I checked her out today.
She's got a good head on her shoulders,
and she's pro-life from what I can tell.
Mm-hmm. She probably just doesn't come right out and say it.
Well, she tried to pass a bill that would protect unborn children, children born after like a botched abortion.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
The Kept Alive Act, or whatever they called it back then. I like her, man.
Yeah.
Plus, she's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's way better looking than what's in there now.
Oh my gosh, that whole bag in there.
Every time she's on the thing, she, it's like, oh my god.
They don't let her on the camera much
she's a witch,
either.
Man.
Yeah.
Ooh, I think she flies on a broom to get there.
Yeah.
She's creepy.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I'm not going to talk bad about Biden because it just feels like I'm going.
I feel bad for him.
It feels like I'm going to senior citizens home and slapping around some old people. I mean, it's just like it's not fun because he's such an idiot. It's not even fun. It's like making fun of a retarded person.
When he was on the phone,
and retarded is actually a word, by the way.
Yeah,
so,
it's real.
Yeah.
When he was on the phone with that gentleman from the military, and they were doing all the Merry Christmas stuff and all that stuff, and when he said "Let's go, Brandon,"
he's like, let's go,
Brandon. Okay, that's a big enough meme at this point. Everybody in the entire United States has seen it.
Yeah, he knows what it means.
He knows what it means.
He's such an idiot.
He's just retarded.
If he said that to Trump, Trump would be like, "Hey, you go bite yourself.
Yeah.
Why don't you go do that?"
Yeah, I'm sending the boys over to your house right now to take care of this.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill you. Yeah, it's sad, man. Our country's pathetic. We did this thing with the COVID, and now the elections are coming up, and all of a sudden COVID magically disappears.
It is pretty amazing how.
Right,
that
then
works.
Fauci comes out and says Omicron was actually the vaccine.
The solution.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's all gone now.
Good then.
We're COVID free.
We're COVID free.
Woo, party.
Yeah, we're 1 week away from.
We need fireworks behind us, Cameron.
The
I mean, that's what.
Yeah, pull up fireworks. We need some fireworks.
Yeah, we need fireworks behind us because
Celebrate
COVID's over.
good times.
1
Come
week
on.
away from Biden announce it. You wait.
You think so?
Yeah,
In
first of
in
March.
his presidential.
So when's he going to cure cancer?
We have defeated COVID. That's what he's going to say.
'Cause it came
and
out-
the sheep are going to go. Bah.
No,
They're going to love it.
And he's going to read it off the teleprompter and go, "What?
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
We did?
We did? How did we do that? What state am I in?
We have ended COVID. Period.
Period."
Do not read this. Period.
Can I have my ice cream now?
Can I go home, Mommy?
Don't forget to grass your notebook.
Yeah.
Oh no! Yeah.
Poor old man.
This is my binky.
Poor old guy. See, it feels bad making
It feels
fun
bad
of him,
making fun
doesn't
of him. It does.
I mean, it
Picking
really
on your
does.
grandpa.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It was more. It was more fun to make fun of Obama. So
It was way more fun because, he was like young and hip and cool, so.
what was funny was like some actress is playing Michelle Obama in a
Is it a man?
in a show. Well, here's what and it said, watch as this this black actress transforms into Michelle Obama, and somebody wrote. The greatest transformation was going from Mike to Michelle. Man, look it up. Look it up. They got pictures of her, man. When she got a thing hanging down there, buddy.
I'm not going to say those might not have been Photoshop, but
just see if she has Adam's apple.
she just looked like a man.
She looks like a man.
She looking like a man.
I know. Speaking of looking like a man, what do you think about this transgender crap going on?
What chance? What?
That swimmer.
What now? The swimmer.
Yeah, there's a male breaking all the women records.
Is there really?
You don't know anything about this?
Fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
Women want equal
And
everything. There you go.
And
Equal
it's a-
rights, right?
They can't even win in their own
it's
sport.
a good-sized man. It's not like a scrawny
Yeah.
man. I mean, he's built like a man. He's breaking all the records. I think it's
Apparently,
great.
okay, a transgender person is you got a man. Apparently, everybody knows this except for Mike. So I'll explain it to him.
I get that. I just did not know that there was a swimmer that was breaking.
Breaking all the
That's
women's
pretty
records.
awesome.
He won his last event by 7 seconds.
Holy smokes!
Yeah.
And they just think it's the greatest thing ever.
Are you sure it's not that Phelps dude?
Okay, but one of the women on the swim team was saying he gets in there and he still has his junk, and he shows it off while he's in there.
What?
And they said he still likes women.
Then how is?
Well, that means
he's so smart. He's a smart man.
He's
playing
transgender
that
homosexual.
system.
You know what? He's gonna come out one day and go, "I punked you all.
Yeah, gotcha.
I'm not even transgendered. I
All
just wanted
these
to prove a
trophies.
point here."
Yeah.
I just wanted the records.
I mean, like I said, it's pretty bad when the women can't even win in their own sport. I mean, think about it. They can't even win their own sports anymore.
But now, also, he claims to be a woman. I can't beat the crap out of him. So,
Well, that's the same thing happened in UFC a couple years ago, or a year or so ago.
Yeah.
that
man
dude,
was
and that
beating
guy
the
got
tar
in
out
there
of
and
it.
bragged about.
He was breaking their eye sockets.
Yeah, he bragged about it.
Yeah. Well, it's like Joe Chappelle was talking about that time where he's talking about, could you imagine if LeBron James had a transition and went to the WNBA? He'd score like 200 points a game. Like, he'd destroy
Absolutely.
him. I mean, so what's the difference in swimming or whatever? It should be whatever your biological birth was is what you should have to compete
And
with.
you're right. What about the feminists who were like equal rights for
Equal
women?
rights. Oh,
Except when it
you
comes to
know,
transgender
I
people.
believe there was a South Park episode
Here's the-
about that with
Yeah.
the Macho Man.
Macho Man. That was a great show. That was a great show.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
The agenda behind all that has never been consistent and never makes sense. They constantly want to draw a line between actual sex and then the idea of gender.
Yeah.
Where whether they're boy or girl, whether they're boy or girl, doesn't matter if they want to assume the role of a gender. That's a social statement or a social identification.
Yeah.
But now, gender, what they wanted to be a social identification,
Is working against
is
them,
now
isn't it?
qualifying them
Yeah.
for men or women's sports.
Right.
You
So
know,
it wasn't a social preference. It's
Yeah.
now something more, and it's becoming everything.
These people are so disturbed that you can't even talk to them logically.
Yeah.
There's two genders, male and female, and they're just like, no, there's not. There's 15.
there's a unicorn. Can I be a unicorn?
You need to watch Crowder. He's got to change my
I want to be a
mind.
unicorn.
He gets it and puts a sign up that says "There's two genders, change my mind." He sits down with three people on a university,
Yeah.
and he kept asking this one woman, "How many genders are there?" And she's like, well, I can't put a number on it. And he goes, well, we can't begin to structure laws about something that we don't understand.
Yeah.
He's like, right now we have 2, and there's laws that apply to those 2.
Right.
If you can't even tell me how many there are,
how
are
do
we
make
ever
laws
supposed to
about
structure?
But what do these people
point.
do like when they go buy a shirt and it says male, female?
They can't wear it.
They don't have a category for other.
Well, they have unisex shirts.
What is an other shirt?
It's true.
They have
unisex.
Unisex,
shirts.
is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have to buy all unisex apparel.
I didn't know they had like an other category, or
I'm
they,
just-
or they them, or
I'm just so glad that I don't care for sports so at all anymore. I didn't even know that. See, I care so little for sports. I was like borderline addicted to football for a long time, and when they started doing that kneeling crap, I was like, I'm done. I haven't watched a single sporting event of any type, NASCAR, any of them, because they're all a bunch of pandering.
They are,
wieners.
man.
I haven't watched a single one in 2 years, and I am more free than I've ever been. Like,
you didn't
I
miss
don't
any
care.
of it. You didn't miss any of it.
Yeah, I don't care.
What are these people so afraid of? Why is the media and corporations so afraid? They're petrified of these people.
Because they don't want their places burned to the ground.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing. That's BLM
Yeah.
and Antifa, but
I don't know.
you don't see the transgenders out doing that.
It's something hip and cool.
Hey
They think
guys,
they
did
can make
somebody
money.
bring the matches?
just like my favorite company, Amazon, with their new Lord of the Rings show, they are pandering. And what it's going to do is it's going to hurt them, and they're going to lose money on it because they spent a crap ton of money on this. They're going to lose money, and then they're going to go, we just didn't make it woke enough.
Right.
And then they're going to come out with something else and make it more woke and lose more money, and they just have the mindset that we're just not doing enough. That's why we're losing money. Instead of going, wow, people hate this because it sucks.
I don't
Because it's
know.
woke.
You said why are news agencies so terrified of people like this?
Well, it's just like universities are petrified of them. Churches are petrified of them.
Crowder was talking about this. He says it's not necessarily that the media companies are scared of it. It's that they are not exercising free speech anymore because they're government-driven speech now.
Yeah, that's
The
what
media companies. So it's not that they're afraid of these things. It's that they're being told to say what they're saying. And then the idea of freedom of
they
speech
agree
is
with
gone.
it.
Yeah,
I think they
but
agree
it would
with it.
change between Republican and Democrat
Yeah.
if it was government driven.
I found out that actually the media in Canada is state run. I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I would trust
So what-
them.
And that happens a lot of times. There's a lot of freedoms that we have here, or under the guise of us having here, that other countries don't have.
Joe Rogan has to stay on.
Yes,
he has to
will.
fight. He has to stay on.
And he will. I think he realized that his apology video that really was never made an apology.
leave it up?
But
Right.
I think he left it up. I think he's realized that, oops, that was dumb.
They got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know
he
how,
realized
but I'm on every platform out there. I keep going back to Facebook. I want to leave Facebook so bad,
there's no
There's no
other
alternative.
competing alternative to it.
but I want to stay in touch with my friends.
Yep.
And when I want to say something, that's the best platform to get something out. Mm-hmm. And so I use Facebook to mock Facebook. That's what I do, and all this stuff's taking place.
And
But
that's why he's in jail.
we need to support those Getter and Rumble, and now the new Truth Social that Trump has put out, which I'm going to go home right now and sign up for. We need to support those things. We need to sign up for those things, so at least they'll have numbers.
That's the thing. Somebody needs to start competing with Facebook and Twitter. Somebody needs to make a big enough push to compete with them, so they have to change guidelines in order to stay competitive.
And Musk was asked that. Elon Musk, you can buy Facebook. Why don't you? He's like, well, it's a good idea. You know,
He should.
He should.
I don't know if he can now.
You know what I mean?
They're too big. That's like saying Musk can buy Amazon. I mean,
That's true.
it's
There's
the
so
same
they
thing.
different entities that own.
Yeah, but if they-
Facebook.
We have created powers of those few companies, and
Gosh.
there's no way around it now.
There's so
And-
many.
and we did it.
Google is a monster.
Yeah, and we did it. The people that
did.
consume their technology and their software and their media, we did that.
And we've talked about this before. We sit around and we complain about this stuff, but we
did it.
But we're the ones who did it.
And I still
did
got
it.
7 Amazon packages this week. Yeah. I mean,
Right, absolutely. I hate Amazon.
He beat
I do.
me.
I hate it
That's
with a passion.
impressive. Wow.
Randy's going crazy.
Every day I go out, there's a
Time for
package
me
from
to
Amazon. I get
step
it.
my game up.
I could have a llama show up, and I just thought, well, I
Yeah,
ordered this a
oh.
couple weeks ago. I
Yeah,
guess.
must have-
We just do it, and we don't think anything about it. We get online. The first thing we do, we check our Facebook page to see what's going. We're a slave to this stuff.
Absolutely.
We are.
I'm trying to switch to Instagram instead because there's less words there. I just get to look,
yes.
I just get to look at cool cars and less opinions.
Yes.
That would be cool. That would be really cool.
Yeah. But Instagram was more of the younger.
It is.
You're not going to get his age.
I know the
People on
80s.
Instagram.
I get it. I know I'm old, but you look back and you think, how did I survive without all this stuff? Just like, you know what? I was happier.
Because you had real social things to do, like going out and seeing people face to face.
I don't know this. You guys are younger. Does anybody ride around on dirt roads anymore?
What you got to find them first.
On country roads?
You got to find them.
No,
They're all
get your car
paved
dirty.
anymore.
Gravel roads? Does anybody ride around on gravel roads?
Oh, I did all the time.
Well, Mike lives on one.
Yeah, I live on
that's
one now.
true.
But,
He has to
I mean,
every day.
that's what we did back in the day. We'd go out with our buddies. We'd get what we christened the beer truck because it was just an old $500 truck that if you put in the ditch, it didn't matter. You just get somebody to pull you out. And we go
We
around
are
the
not
back
condoning
roads.
drunk driving.
No,
by the way.
absolutely not.
Especially
no.
underage.
No.
Right. We had
I was at least 21, I'm sure.
We had an
when
Uber
that
guy
happened.
that we brought with us.
But yeah,
So,
I mean, that's what you did in the days. You rode around the back roads, and yeah, you might have done some things you shouldn't have been doing, but you weren't out doing anything necessarily bad.
it has changed so much. I remember that in the town that we're in right now, you used to be able to go up there by the old co-op, I guess what it was. You would see trucks lined up, cars lined up, and people sitting outside.
That was, 10 years ago?
Now, I haven't seen it in 10 years.
No, they don't do it anymore.
They don't do it anymore.
That used to be the hangout.
What would they be watching if they were sitting outside, though? Nothing.
They'd be on their phones if they were sitting outside.
Yeah, now they would. Yeah.
Watching Facebook.
Yeah, but back in, like I said, back in our day, they didn't have any of that. So you just went out and you did things.
We had an arcade in town, and it had a huge parking lot.
Yeah.
All the cars would line up in front of the arcade.
And now we play Xbox across the interwebs instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel for these kids.
Yeah.
But at least when if something happens and we lose all this stuff, I'll still be able to survive. These two will go in the fetal position and never move.
As long as Amazon
These
can
three, I'm sorry.
have horse delivered packages, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll
I
survive.
call in Amazon and say, I want this. Horse delivered.
Yeah, it won't be Amazon. It'll be Amazon or something like that.
Nice.
Where the Amish will take over.
We'll do
Amazon.
fine. We got 3.5 years of apocalypse we got to live through anyways.
Yeah, if he makes it that long.
Well, that's true.
He's getting worse every day. I see him. Until I guess this robot's battery's running down. He's a robot.
He's talking about Biden, I think. That's not what I was talking
him?
about. But
Oh, okay.
A bunch
Yeah, I
of
got
robots.
confused for a
Oh,
second.
I'm sorry.
I
What
was
do you
talking
think I
about-
was talking about?
I was talking about tribulation. You were talking about Biden.
Oh,
Imagine how they kind of fit in the same paragraph.
I can see your confusion.
same difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'll just close on this note. We just got on tangent, but we don't care.
Did we talk about the topics on your
Most of
list
them,
there?
Yeah, we actually, I just had a couple more notes here. You got to recognize the difference between evil and stupidity.
Yeah.
Got to have discernment.
Yeah.
You just realize we're not here to let evil deflect off us. We're here to defend against it.
Absolutely.
And that's what people need to understand.
And we start with God, and then sometimes God uses us to stop this stuff. But I find it funny because the Bible says resist not an evil person, and then in 1 Corinthians 5, when church discipline takes place, Paul says remove this evil person from among you.
Yeah.
So obviously we interpret Scripture by Scripture. Obviously our meaning is not what he meant.
It's not the same.
Yeah, it's the same. So go out and buy yourself a Tesla before gas goes to $6 a gallon.
Or if you're a straight white male, you don't buy a Tesla.
Yes, you do.
No, absolutely not.
I'm the straightest, whitest male out
Buy
there.
the biggest diesel truck you can find,
And he's got 2 Teslas.
and
so.
put a Gretchen
I'm not trying to
Thornburg,
save the
whatever her
planet.
name is, decal on it, and just burn some diesel.
I'm not trying to save the planet. I just love the car.
Hey, when our fossil fuels get shut
Hey.
down and they're $7 a gallon, he's going to be driving
I
around.
own
what,
a
though?
Hummer. I own a Hummer.
But you own 2 Teslas, which way override the one
I own a Hummer and an F-350.
But it's not deleted.
A diesel.
And that hurts my feelings.
So I'm saving the environment and destroying it at the same time.
He's canceling.
I'm
Balancing
canceling myself out. My carbon credits, I'm canceling them out.
out. Just like
what I'm
Thanos,
doing.
perfect balance.
Perfect balance. There's balance at the Brown house.
I'm serious, man. I'll have to have solar power to do my Teslas. Gosh.
Take you a while to charge them up with a solar panel.
The next time it's 25 degrees outside or wind chill of negative, just think about how that wind turbine is going to power your home during that time.
Oh, so I read.
It ain't happening.
I read something today that the guy did the math. It's like 270 tons worth of steel and all of this stuff. And he did the math on all the tonnage of what it takes to produce that windmill from point A to point B. That windmill would have to survive like 400 years to make enough energy to compensate for what it was built out of. And by the way, they have a lifespan of 50 years. If they make it the 50-year mark.
But you're talking about logic and common sense, which goes against everything Democrats and liberals stand for.
The windmills and the solar, they're all just a ploy.
Where do you think the old windmills go? They go into waste, and they don't degrade.
Kind of like the batteries on your Tesla. They don't degrade. Those lithium-ion batteries, guess where they go? They're going to go to a big scrapyard one day.
No, what happens is a unicorn comes by and scoops them all up.
Nice.
And makes them magically disappear.
We can start pumping them into outer space.
Yeah.
Just shooting them off into outer space.
Right now, we have them on Uranus. We use them to build our houses. Depleted batteries.
I'm just wondering how.
You could do that, right?
You could, yeah. Why not? I mean, might not be healthy, but that's fine.
That's right.
You're living on Uranus anyway.
No
so.
radiation is going to kill you.
No.
So.
How much longer do you think before the government offs Elon Musk?
He's not. He
can literally take a rocket into space and land it on a pad as big as this table in the middle of the ocean, and NASA can't do that.
Did you see that video? I showed you that video, didn't I? When he did that, they set up the rocket. The fuel pads fall off. The fuel pads come back down and land on 2 X's.
Yeah. Yeah.
And NASA's going, well, how did he do that?
Yeah, exactly. How much longer before Elon Musk has a tragic accident? Because
they're setting up satellites every week now.
Yeah.
I told you that.
Yeah.
And one day he's just going to get on television and go, by the way, all those satellites have lasers.
I own everything now.
There's one satellite per person orbiting.
I'm gonna, and that's the way a machine thinks.
It's gonna look
the
like
Matrix.
a mesh around the planet.
I know. And I'm gonna kill all of you, unless you know.
It could happen.
It could happen.
I mean,
anything could happen
at
now.
At this point, yeah, who knows?
5 years ago, if you told me about COVID, I'd laugh in your face.
He just wants to be able to turn off your Tesla no matter where you are.
That's true. Or blow it up with lasers, apparently.
They can do that. If you've never owned a Tesla, some show I'll get on here and tell you about it. But it's fun and scary at the same time.
They are a very cool car. I will give them that.
Yeah. When you're going down the road and your sunroof comes open because your wife has the app on there and she's having fun and turns your heat up to like 90.
So here's my thing.
And you're sitting there going,
if you can control that I remember back in the 90s, I used to be able to hack into other people's computer with a very simple program and like turn their web cameras on and off and open their disk drives and all kinds of weird stuff. You think somebody could do that with your car?
Especially since it's auto drive.
Like, hey, video game time.
We just have a
driving through the streets.
Well, I got one that didn't have
brigade of Teslas coming at you.
There you go.
Like tanks.
I did one. I got one that had like the basic package on it. I didn't want it auto drive.
Yeah,
that's probably a good idea.
I'm not going to sit there and let the car.
Oh, the new one doesn't auto drive? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Oh, really?
That's probably a good thing.
I had a choice between that or Ludicrous. Ludicrous.
Oh, well, yeah, we're taking speed over that. Speed over comfort any day.
What's funny about Ludicrous mode is that it only shaves off like 0.4 of a second. Which you were talking about 0 to 60.
0.4 of a second is a crap ton of time.
Yeah, it is.
0.4 of a second, especially in a quarter mile, that's some cars.
It goes from 2.8 to 2.4.
It's like dropping 300 pounds of weight.
Yeah.
That's like taking your back windshield wiper off.
That'd be like me not riding in it.
Good grief.
3 pounds, by the way.
So glad that I got old.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that anymore.
3 pounds lighter, by the way.
We need to have a car show.
We had one.
Huh?
We had one.
When? No, we need to have a car show.
Like an actual show with
where
cars,
we talk
not
about
a show
cars.
about cars.
Right.
We did that.
Not at the end of the podcast.
We did a show about cars.
Did we spend the whole episode?
We did one about car shows.
We didn't spend the whole. We talked about car shows.
Yes.
We need to do one about actual cars. Our top 10 cars.
And then we can have the pictures.
Gosh,
of
I'd
the
never
cars
be able to do
behind us
that.
finally. Yeah.
It'd be easier for me to do movies than top 10 cars.
Top 10 cars? Oh, I could do that easily.
That'd be a rough one for
Yeah.
you. I know what
There'd be more
JR's
than
would
10
be.
on the list.
It wouldn't be that hard because
it wouldn't be in the top 10.
It wouldn't be?
Your
The car I have now in my top 10, no.
Oh, really?
No, there's a lot of cool cars out
there
there.
any
that
cars
I'll
that
never
you
have.
have?
As much as you love that car.
Is there any that you have that would be in your top 10?
Tesla would be the top 5.
Over a Plaid.
No.
There you go. So you
Plaid's
do not
number
own
one?
a car in your top 10. If you had a Nissan GTR, you probably would own one in your top 10.
GTR would be on
saying.
my list.
Nah.
Yeah, GTR would be on my list.
Yeah, I'd be
McLaren would be on my list.
300ZX would be on my list.
Maybe.
Ooh, a 2x2?
Yeah.
Yellow?
Twin turbo.
Yellow with T-tops?
No tan.
With T-tops?
Man.
Yes.
Okay, winner.
Winter chicken
Red
dinner.
interior?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
There'd probably be 2 Skylines in my top 10.
Mitsubishi 3000 GT.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be on my list.
A General Lee.
General Lee, absolutely.
90s
General
Eclipse
Lee.
has got to be on there.
Um,
I'm taking
Lancer
Eleanor.
Evo's got to be on
a Supra,
there.
an old Supra.
One of the most beautiful, in my opinion, one
Oh,
of the
they're-
most
It is.
beautiful
It is.
cars ever
It's a
made.
69 Mustang.
I don't
I think
care.
69.
I'm not a big Mustang fan, but that's one of the most beautiful cars ever
Yes,
made.
that is. That is. You watch Gone in 60
Yeah,
Seconds.
Gone in 60 Seconds.
You watch that
Eleanor
show,
is,
and I don't care who you are. And I'm not a
gorgeous.
big Mustang fan at all. And I'm just like, that is a beautiful car.
don't even care if it had a 4-cylinder in it. I'm driving that thing. You know what I mean?
That-
it can
that
be like
is a-
the Fast and Furious where they rip the. No, we're not talking about
Beautiful. Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Where they ripped the what off?
that show. A Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift where they put the 4-cylinder in the Mustang.
They put the 2JZ in it.
Oh, it was
There was a 2J in the Mustang.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
TJ, that's a great engine.
That's heresy.
One of the best.
That's heresy.
Yeah. My top 10 list, all these supercars, it wouldn't be in there. I mean,
Supercars, the McLaren would be on there.
96 Toyota Supra.
GTR is not a supercar. It's a sports car, not a supercar.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Supercar to me is anything over 200,000.
Yeah, it's a price thing.
It's like a Lamborghini.
yeah, that's interesting. I'm not going to beat those supercars.
Not in the quarter mile, you couldn't.
Oh, my gosh. Really?
You could be.
So we'll go find stoplights that are a quarter mile apart and run.
You're saying you're going to race, so we're going to do it at a race track because that's the right thing to do, boys and girls.
Yeah, off road.
Don't race on the street. So we're going to do it at a track. You're losing on the track every time. Sorry.
I disagree with you.
And then you're going to have to charge the thing. Because if you run it that
Well,
hard,
he
it
just
ain't going to make but about 10 passes.
He'll just have to run the 8th mile.
I still don't think he could do it.
I disagree.
I think he'd be.
I think
win the 8th
you
mile.
guys looked at one site that
Well,
Google showed you,
We'll do the
which
math.
hates Elon Musk to begin with,
Well, it probably does, yeah.
and then showed you the Tesla losing. And I see things that show Tesla winning. I show the graph where it shows Tesla the quarter mile way up here and a Ferrari down here.
We looked at Tesla's official site and saw the numbers off their official site.
And it was the same time as the GTR, and you guys come in and
GTR
go,
is
well, if
a
you
bad
modified the GTR, then make it.
No,
I'm talking
no.
about a stock Tesla here.
But
Stock Tesla.
Well,
But you can't do anything but have a stock Tesla.
We're talking about
Exactly.
but that's it. That's the end of the Tesla.
Yeah, that's the end
GTR
of the Tesla.
has endless.
The GTR can get better.
But
Tesla
stock
cannot.
for stock, the Tesla's a better car.
Okay, then we're going to get Bugatti.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're just going to
We
talk
need to
stock
bring
for
the
stock,
Veyron
let's
out
talk
then.
the best stock cars now.
We need the Veyron.
But the
then.
problem is with the Bugatti, 0 to 60, close.
Quarter mile.
Close.
Destroyed.
Nobody runs quarter mile.
Everybody runs quarter mile.
Nobody
That's what
ever
drag
bought-
races are.
All you people are car guys, hey, man,
They don't
what's
do
your
it.
quarter mile time?
Now it's all 30 and 40 rolls. It's not limited
0
by
to 60.
distance.
You know why?
Everybody wants 0 to
Because
60.
they got no cojones anymore.
No, nobody even does 0 to 60. It's starting at 30 or 40. Or
Yeah,
then
you start at 30
punching
or
it.
40 anymore.
Yeah.
Because everybody can't.
Why?
Nobody can keep traction.
You're right.
Everybody burns tires off. So at 30
Yeah,
miles
that's
an hour,
true.
you do the roll and start. Now your Tesla really is in trouble. Roll and start at 30? That's a heavy car.
Mine's all-wheel drive.
Once again, rolling at 30, you don't worry about
Yeah.
traction.
Yeah, but
you're rolling
yeah.
30 mile an hour.
Yeah, that wouldn't bother me either. Jelly,
Teslas are slow.
jelly roll. That's what they are. Jealous. Jealous.
It's a jelly roll. That's what we're going to start calling it from now on. The 30 on
I'm
roll.
going to call you Jelly Roll. That's what you are.
Oh, well,
He-
haters got to hate.
and if somebody came tomorrow and go, Mike, I'm going to give you a test, he'd be like, thank you.
They could come tomorrow and say, I'm giving you a Prius. And I'm driving it. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to drive anything you give to me.
Right.
I don't care what it is.
Oh, why is the dog upside down? All right, we're just done. We're rambling.
They're rambling.
You guys have
Yeah,
fun.
love it.
Love you. See you later.
Subscribe.
Be good.
subscribe.
Go and sin no more, you evil people. We're coming for you.
Broalition is done, leaving behind charred minds,
we
exhaust
talking now?
fumes.
Yeah, we just
and
yeah.
We can talk on the
multiple
outro.
cigar
We lost everybody
wrappers
to you,
and
so.
an
No,
empty
we got
bottle
them. We got their attention back.
bourbon.
They're looking forward to this car show that we won't do. Because we never do anything we say we're going to do.
Pastor Lee,
True.
J.R.
The car show would be
Robinson,
fun.
and the Hoosier Hillbilly,
It's an hour.
We could argue about
An hour
the
and
car
a half.
show. The car show would be crazy.
An
hour.
religion,
104,
politics,
The car
cars,
show. I don't know if I can make a top 10.
cigars, and anything
Top
else
10 cars.
fun.
Well, I can make a top 10. There's be more than 10 in there.
We hope you
Top 10
enjoyed
reasonable
the show.
cars.
We know
Reasonable?
We'll be
Well,
back
once again, okay, are we considering Eleanor a reasonable car? Because that's like a
Well, if
$1
you're
million
sitting there,
car.
if you're talking to somebody and they're thinking about a car to buy, you would say, okay, here's the top 10. Here's our top 10 cars.